In this demonstration, we're going to go over an overview of Microsoft Agent 365. What is it? How does it work? Why is it so important in today's agentic era? Why does this really matter? Hello, I'm CEO Rodriguez. Here we are at the Microsoft 365 Admin Center, where you can get there at admin.microsoft.com. And when you come to this admin center, if you have Agent 365 enabled, or if you are a Frontier company, some of the features in Agent 365 are still in development, they are ongoing. A Frontier organization basically means that things that you are testing, some of the things are in preview, but most of Agent 365 has already been released to the public, and it's being used by many companies, especially because everyone wants to innovate. Everyone wants to, or I would say, um, most companies want to use the benefits of the agentic AI, creating agents to do repetitive tasks and to add value to their business. Now, the question is, how do you do this in a secure, safe, compliance manner? Well, that's the answer. Agent 365. That's one of the ways of doing that. But let's just go over and see for yourself whether this is something that would help your company or not, right? So Agent 365 um, tracks agent usage across your organization and takes steps to improve impact, adjust settings, manage accounts, help teams unlock more value while staying aligned with governance goals. When you come to the page, here we are at the overview page of Agent 365. The first thing that we see is the Agent Registry, which is an inventory of the agents that are available to your organization. It doesn't mean that all those agents are being used. It's basically mean that those agents are available and that people can request to have access to those agents. But in this case, we see that here at Zava, we have 14,781 agents that are total agents in the organization. And if we want to explore those agents, we could go here or we go to the all agents. We'll see that in a minute. In the next card, we see active users. And here in the last day, you can change this to either the last 7 or 30 days to see the active users with agents and whether it is increasing or decreasing. But these are basically unique users interacting with agents. So right at a glance, you can see how agents are being used and whether people are actually using those agents. That is a very good metric. Next, you can see here agent runtime. So the total hours worked by agents. So this is an indication of times being saved in your company if those hours had been worked by manual processes. Okay. And here we have the registry sync. This is a new addition that's been added recently. And the question was, the concern from many customers was like, okay, but this is good. You can get all those uh, agents in the registry when they are created with Microsoft platforms, which is not the case. Uh, we can register agents created in other platforms as well. But So if agents are introduced with other platforms, we can do this registry sync so that we get visibility uh, um, to those agents. Now, if you click on this uh, help documentation here, and we talk about, and so again, the registry sync is still in preview, so that's a new feature, but basically, registry sync in Microsoft Agent 365, the admin center enables you as an administrator to securely connect external AI agent environment and synchronize agents into the Agent 365 registry for centralized visibility and governance. Whether those are some of the most popular agent, and we already discover Amazon Bedrock, Google Vertex AI, and we're going to be adding more, such as Salesforce, Databricks, um, and other platform. But that's a great feature. One of the greatest thing about this here Microsoft is that we are constantly updating, that we are adding new features. I mean, this agentic era, it's new to everyone, and everyone is trying to figure out how to tame, how to manage all these agents, and this has been the response from Microsoft. One of the responses, and we will continue to upgrade this and make this solution even better every single time. If we go to the top actions for you, here we see pending request for agents. And this is an important thing. So agents, when when someone see an agent, so you have this inventory of agents, this store of agents. And when people are going to use these agents, they need to request these agents. So there is a workflow. Users need to request these agents, and then it will come to an admin, and then the admin will go through and see who is requesting the agent, why they're requesting, what the and the permission that those agents have, and the access to data in the environment. We'll see that in a little bit, but this is an important component there. We can see agents at risk. And what does it mean, agent at risk? Well, it means that the agent is doing a stuff that it's out of maybe the boundary of the agent. Maybe the agent is having access to data that they were not intended to have access to. Maybe they are running some scripts in an endpoint, and we need to figure out what's going on. So there are many reasons why agents are at risk. And again, we could also investigate further into those agents, and we'll see that also later on. In terms of governance, this is a very important piece. We see here agents without owners. So every agent should have an owner. And if someone, let's say, leaves the company, and that agent becomes ownerless, then we want to make sure that that agent has an owner. So we can come here and assign an owner to that agent. And there are rules that we can create also to make sure that when an agent becomes ownerless, because maybe that user leaves the company for whatever reason, that agent could be assigned automatically to, let's say, another person or a manager, for example. So we can also do that kind of stuff. Here we see agents with exceptions. If an agent, has some kind of exceptions, like we see that there is a product backlog agent, okay, and it has some exception, we can also go in and investigate that as well, okay. So again, really important. We can go into details and see more information about that, but this is just that overview. When you come into this first page, you have a lot of information about these agents. Some important analytics. Here we see agents by creators. This is who's creating those agents, so we can see also the uh, top platforms used to build agents. So here we see that most agents here are being created by Agent Builder in Microsoft 365 Copilot. That's one way how you can create agent in Microsoft. Also, Copilot Studio, that's the second place. You can also create agents using Microsoft Foundry for more advanced and more sophisticated and kind of like development agents. You can use Foundry. You can use Microsoft Power Platforms. You can use SharePoint also and other. This other means external, like third-party agents, for example, or even Power Platforms. It's included into that other over here. I could, I would like to see maybe in the future that uh, Power Platform would be included into not the other because it's also a Microsoft way of creating agent, creating business applications. Anyway, so here we have active users over time. It's another good metric. And here we see the trending agents by active users. So we see that the Java procurement agent is one of the most popular agents. We can take a look at that later on and see why. Anyway, so a lot of as an admin, I would feel really good about this first page, and even as a CISO, right? As a cybersecurity manager, you come here and you see a lot of the stuff about those agents, what's going on. So if you've never seen this level of visibility, I think that just looking at this first page, obviously this is not enough. We're going to go deeper and look at how we can manage and control those agents. But to me, this would be a sign that at least I have some level of visibility of what's going on in my environment. I believe that this is uh, a great a starting point, not the end yet, but it is a good starting point. If we click on the all agents page, again, some of the stuff that we already saw, but so we are here at registry, um, the registry that we talked about. Uh, we have map and request. We're going to see that in a little bit. And so here is a list of all those agents that we are talking about. Now, remember, what this basically means is that these are agents that are available in the company. It doesn't mean that those agents are being used. As a matter of fact, if you go to the active users column over here, you see that a lot of these agents, there's no active users, and in some of them there is active users. So this is a good sign, and you can sort this out. So if you can click here, you can see like agents that are the most popular agents and that kind of stuff. You can also see in the status that some of these agents are blocked. So if for whatever reason you find an agent and you don't understand, maybe who gave access to that agent and what the agent is doing, or you want to review what the agent has access to, then you can, block this agent, let me just block it for now, and then um, until we review this agent. We can do that with a click of the button. We'll show that also a little bit later. We see the total sessions that they created. So we see at a glance a lot of information about this agent. So if we go back to, let's say, this Java procurement agent, and we want to see more details about, what's going on with this agent here, um, I should probably Let me just get myself out of the way. But we see here details about this agent, some um, the agent version, um, some description about what the agent is supposed to be doing, and the reason why it was created. And then we get an overview with a lot of useful information. Important thing is I've heard many customers say, okay, but where are these agents? How can I find this agent? Well, you can find these agents in whatever channel the agent was published. So when someone creates an agent or when you import an agent from a third party, one of the questions is, okay, where do you want this agent to be published? Because it depends on the nature of the agent, whatever the agent is intended to do. So in this case, this agent can be found in Copilot. If you open Copilot, that's where you can search for. There is a library of agents, and you can find that there. And you could also find this agent in Teams. So those are the two channels where users will find this agent. And the publisher here is Zava Finance. So this was published by the finance department. So they own this agent. And but we see that there is no owner to this. This is not a good thing. Somebody should be held accountable. So accountability is extremely important in in agentic AI. So we should assign an owner to that agent over there. Okay, and if this agent has any sensitivity, access to sensible data that it would show here, it doesn't. So which is a good thing. If I see, okay, well, this agent doesn't have access to sensitive data, that's a good thing. A lot of these agents, so you can divide agents into two groups: agents with delegated permissions and autonomous agents. So this is agents with delegated permissions, which basically means that the agent uh, would have access to whatever you have access. And then least privilege is an important thing over here, right? One of the zero trust main component, which basically means that you should not give any user or agent more permissions than what they need to do the job. So the same thing applies to these agents because remember, these agents, a lot of these agents, they have identities. They do stuff just like a regular user. Uh, when we talk about those autonomous agents, they are kind of like a digital colleague. Some of those agents have their own identity, they have their own mailbox, they have teams, just like a regular person, right? So here at Microsoft, we treat agents like humans, right? In the sense that we can apply access control. We can apply conditional access. We can. There is a life cycle in which we uh, the agent comes in. We provision the agent. The agent go through changes and modifications and permissions, and then there is the end of life, in which, well, if we don't need an agent anymore because maybe we don't need to do that, or there's something else that is doing that job, we can decommission, we can fire agents, we can lay off agents, if you want to call it, just like what happens to real people. But anyway, so all of that, it's here. This is the Entra agent ID. So if we want to go into Microsoft Entra, and we'll do that in a later video, how to look at agents from different personas. We are looking at agent right now from the persona of an admin in the Microsoft 365 Admin Center, but we can look at these agents from the persona of a data security engineer. So you could go into Purview and see whether the agent is accessing sensitive data or not, and or you can go into Entra and look at the identity and all that stuff. Here we can see the instructions that, for this agent. Again, the identity, and we can also see the environment, whether the agent is, has its own environment and can access. So it depends on the complexity of the agent. This agent it's not that complex. Um, so we can go into users, and this agent is shared with all users. So basically, this is an agent that the company shared with all users. So everyone can use this agent. That's not the case for every agent. You can control where and how the AI agents it's available across your organization. We can take a look at that later on. But in this case, this agent is shared with all users. When we go into data and tools, these are here we can see the capabilities of the agent. This is how this agent can perform specific tasks and access data sources to provide accurate contextual responses. So we see that this agent can read OneDrive files, and then it can also read SharePoint files. Can only read. That's a good thing. So this agent does not have permission to modify files, which is a good thing. It's not connected to anywhere else. So there's no graph connector. Okay, that's fine. And then knowledge sources. Here is the data that the agent uses to answer questions accurately. So, and this is another important thing. So it doesn't mean, so what that means is that this agent was trained maybe with some kind of knowledge, but at the same time has access to other sources for knowledge. And then we can update the knowledge by just updating the source of that knowledge over there. And we can take a look at that as well. Wanted to. In terms of tools, these are the processes that the agent uses to handle requests. There's no tools over here. And this is another indication that, well, this is a simple agent can read data. It's not a big deal. So this is not one of those agents that I have to worry about because there's not much that this agent can do. Now, obviously, it can read data from OneDrive and SharePoint. So, yeah, you could have an issue with the confidentiality of data because if, let's say, a user comes in and may see files that the user was not intended to be able to see because of its agent. But remember, the user can only see the files that he has permission to see. So if you find out that someone is accessing files using this agent that they were not intended to see, well, that means that you need to adjust your permissions. In many cases, when you adopt AI, you need to do some kind of data hygiene in the sense that um, if a user can have access to a data, but they never knew that, it's going to be easier for them now to find those things using these agents, because that's one of the things. So agents augment, increase the ways that people uh, have visibility to things, but they need to have the permission to do that. It's important to keep that in mind. If we go into security, um, we can see these are some, the naval policies that um, we can review stuff. Here we can go directly into Microsoft Purview to look at the kind of things that this agent have access to. We can monitor agent activity with agent identity. We can go directly into that. We can protect sensitivity data and all kinds of things. So um, when you are investigating an agent, when you're looking at an agent or whatever the agent is doing, this may take you to different paths. It may take you to Purview. Purview is for data security and compliance. Or it may take you to Microsoft Entra for identity. Entra, it's all about identity and more, right? But so you can go there, and we're not going to do that right now because I don't want this video to be extremely long. But what we are going to do is we're going to create other videos in the future where we are going to go to those other places. We're going to explore Agent 365 from a data security perspective using Microsoft Purview. And we are also going to explore Entra identity related to agents using the Microsoft Entra Admin Center. So we'll do that. If you just follow along, um, you'll see how all these things work. But for now, we just want to give this overview of agent using the admin center. If we click on permissions, well, this agent doesn't have permissions from Microsoft Entra ID, which is a good thing, right? Um, we don't have to worry much about this. There's all the agents that we will explore that have, more permissions. If we look at activity, then we see that there are, 44 active users that are using this agent. Uh, there's many, many sections with this section, no exceptions, and this is the agent runtime, the um, times being used with this agent. And we can see a lot of other things here related to, we could export this into a CSV file, put into Excel, maybe analyze that with Agentic AI, Copilot, or any other tool that you use to see what's going on over there. Um, this is the piece where I said I don't have the rights to do. I don't have the rights to do that. But here you could block an agent with a click of a button. If there's something going on and you want to uh, investigate an agent, but you want to just block everyone from using that, this is how you would do it. And also, if you need to assign an agent manually to someone else because the agent became ownerless, then this is how you would do that over there as well. So, all right. So that's what the agent um, does. Let me show you. It's another piece. The properties of these agents depends on the agent. So you'll see more things depending on what the agent does. Now, Canva is a third-party agent, so you may see stuff over here that you're going to see the familiar things, and but the piece that I want to talk about is certification. So certification um, basically mean that this is publisher attested. So Canva, right, attested that the information on this page is based on a self-attestment, of course, but Canva had an audit, right? A company that came in, and so they certified this for PCI DSS. So if you are a company that handle, credit card, you could feel, let's say, uh, confident, I would say, or uh, relieved, right, that this agent is certified to handle customer, credit card data. The same thing with the this agent has also been certified by the ISO 27001, which is an international body that has to do with security and security controls and that kind of stuff. So anyway, and there's also FERPA, which is the Family of Educational Rights and Privacy Act. Basically means that universities and school can feel um, assured that this agent it's secure. And there's other you know uh, companies and organizations that have certified this agent. So I like that as a if I'm gonna bring a third party agent into my company, then it is I would feel better if that agent has been certified by especially the regulations, the laws, or the industry that is relevant to me. If I'm not an educational institution, or I'm not a company that deals with credit card for customers, well, I don't care about the certification from PCI DSS and those other things. But if I have to comply with the industry, the ISO organization to a standardization ISO 27001, and I see that it's certified, well, that means something that it's useful to me. Anyway, so those are the things that now notice in permissions that So this agent has a lot more permission than the previous one. And one thing that caught my attention is the this agent has access to read and write to all files. This is a little bit more serious, okay? Because basically what this means is that um, it allows the app to read, create, update, and delete all files that the assigned user can access. Again, we go back to that delegated permissions that the assigned user, whoever is using this agent, has delegated permission, and basically means that you know you can go in with this agent and modify a whole bunch of files. You can delete files. You can do real damage. So you got to be careful. This is one of those agents that should not be available for everyone. It's not everyone should be using Canva. Maybe this is for the design department or the marketing department, that kind of. So you know, most company is someone who's working with agents. You don't want this to be available to everyone, and we'll show a little bit how you do that. But just wanted to show that piece of it. Another useful component of this uh, page, this all agent page over here, is the map. I like this map, and it's around a little bit. So this is a living document, is a visual representation of how those agents are being created. Here is the agents with Agent Builder, um, agent with Amazon Bedrock. So remember, we said that you can bring agents from external. So I mean, there are three agents here in the registry that were created or imported or connected to our environment using Amazon Bedrock. We got agents with Foundry, and again, so I like this. So if I want to look at any of these agents, then I can click on this, and then I can drill down into um, one of these agents. So here we have this Bedrock training, and again, so we can see now this is unmanaged, basically meaning that uh, there's not much that we can control because this is unmanaged. So maybe you want to manage this agent. So this is one of those things that it's useful when it comes to these things. All right. Okay, so again, this map, you can drill down, look at agents, see the relationship with those agents. So I find that this map is really useful and cool there. The other piece that we talked about is the request. So the agents are available. It's like there's a library of agents, just like applications. Like in Microsoft 365, there's a whole bunch of applications that are available for people to request access to those applications. Doesn't mean that you have access to them yet. They are just available. So when we're talking about the registry will show all the agents that are available in the environment. It doesn't mean that those agents are being used, all of them by users, right? You need to request them. So when you request an agent, it will come to this page, and notice that this is pending, and this is these are the channels. We talked about that, where you can find them. Here are the owners of these agents, and here are the publishers. So these are the people that will. It doesn't mean that these are the people that will give requests. Normally, the request comes to the admin center. The owner, it's just whoever created, whoever, well, not created, but whoever is accountable for the for the agent, which in many cases it's the owner, but not necessarily. And but this is more an admin thing. So if I click on this page, let's say that I want to look at this thing, so I can review this agent. I can look at a couple of things and see. what the agent does. I can look at data and tools to see what does he have access to, hasn't to anything. In terms of security, I can see the stuff that it can connect to. And then if I go to permissions, the data and tools and the permissions are the two big things that you want to see. Okay, what is it? What does he have permission to? What are the data and tools that he can access? I don't see much stuff like I don't find any issue with this. Then you would go to publish, and then as you publish the agent, there's a couple of questions that are templates that there's a default template that you can that is assigned from Microsoft, and you can create your own template as well. Um, or you could just reject this agent. Say, no, I'm not interested. We're not going to use this agent. And then if this is an agent that you decide, well, you could reject it just for that user, or you could reject it for the entire company, and then you can take it out of that registry inventory so that it's not visible to you. So you can kind of, um, you know, uh, make it not visible or block it. You can do that as well, right? So that's the request. Really cool over there. Another component that has recently been added is the shadow AI. And again, this is frontier, basically meaning it's not available to everyone. Only the company that have requested that are frontier companies will be able to see it. So it's something new, something we added. And again, um, this will allow you to find out if your tenant has active agents from a shadow AI platform, right? Detection confidence may vary, and some details may be unavailable. So again, this is something that's being worked on. You may not be able to find all agents now, but eventually uh, we will gonna be redefining this so you can do that. Okay, and and there we go. So we saw this, open claw over there, deleted devices. It's not much that it's doing. You could also click on detecting, so use to detect agents. If we click on tools, the tools define how an AI model interact with user data, which right now it's basically using MCP. Um, MCP stands for the Model Context Protocol. And again, it's a way for agents, as I said, um, to access data as a tool. MCP, ensures that requests, responses, and actions are handled consistently, safely, and transparently, right? And then we can use the registry tab to view and manage the tools available in your tenant, as we saw before. But anyway, so these are the MCP servers that we are using on Microsoft for now. So we're using MCP to do that. If we go to the settings, um, the you can manage, everything related to agents here. The settings include controls for data access, user permissions, integration policies, customizations of agent behaviors to align with enterprise standards. The agent management rules, these are a set, and you can basically set and run rules to manage or perform actions on agents. So if we click on this, we can set, I don't have the permission to do that, but I was giving you an example before. Let's say that you have someone who owns an agent and that person leaves the company. You can create a rule so that every time that an agent becomes ownerless, then that agent, the manager is assigned to that agent, for example. That's one of the things you can do there. Allow agent types. What does that mean? This means that you can specify which categories of AI agents, such as share or external, are permitted for use within the organization. So if we click on this, allow apps and agents by Microsoft right now, or you could disallow. If you uncheck this box, those apps and agents won't be allowed. Nobody will be able to work with those. So you could basically from here disallow everything to everybody. Or let's say that you are only working, you're starting and you're working only with Microsoft agents. And so you don't want to allow external agents. Well, then you can uncheck this box over here. Or you could say only certify external publishers, for example. Right now, this extends to all publishers, but you want to say only publishers that certify their agents will be allowed. Well, you can do that. And this is a good thing. A lot of companies, are starting to do that as well, right? In the um, Actually, that's what we were. The sharing. So here you can manage who can share AI agents within your organization and define the methods they can use to share them. You don't probably want everybody to share agents, just a specific groups or departments. Right now, everyone can. You can say, I want no users to. Well, that would be the extreme. These are the two extremes, all users and no users. You want to be somewhere here, right? Um, Specify use. I don't have access to do this, of course, in this tenant. But anyway, so that's what you can do there. Then we talked about templates a little bit about a couple of minutes ago. So you can create preset policies, rules, and allow list for new agents. And so when someone requests an agent, and you go through the process of allowing that agent, then that is the place in which you can select the template that you're going to use. There is always a default agent template for all agents except all teammates. There's one. There is default agents template for AI teammates, and there is a policy for PMs inside. This is somebody created this template, but you can create your own template depending on the groups and what the agent does and that kind of stuff. You can do. And then finally, we have here the user access, which control which users or groups can interact with AI agents. So remember, one thing is about sharing agents, one thing is about who can interact with agents, right? So right now, everyone in the company can interact with agents, or you can select that no one, and then that defeats the purpose. But let's say that you have not started adopted agents, but people are creating agents. Well, you could basically say no user, because remember, this is about publishing the agent. People can still create agents and use the agents by themselves. There's no problem. The problem was when you publish these agents to the entire company. So a company that is in the phase of adopting this agent may want to say, you know what, I don't want anyone to start publishing agent. So maybe you want to do that. Again, these are the two extremes. You may want to be here, in which you say, okay, we have a group of people that are working with agents. These people can do that. You can have a group or, choose users that you want to be able to do that. And then you can do that there. There you go. This is an overview of how we managed Microsoft 365, uh, Copilot, AI agents, all in one place. Okay, so Agent 365 is a must-have solution in today's agentic era, in which people know that they need to innovate, because if you don't innovate, if you don't use agents, you're going to lag behind. The competition is going to be in terms of timing to the market, effective productions. So yes, you want to innovate, but you got to be careful, got to slow down. Security, protection, compliance are pieces that need to be in place, or at least you know where to go to do those things before you do that. So that's all. Thank you for watching. I will continue creating this type of content in my channel. So if you want to be informed, when new content comes in. Please subscribe to my channel. If you have any comment, any questions, please leave it in the comments, and that would also help me how to create the content. This is for you. And uh, anything that you want to learn, that you want to know more about, then we will do that. So thank you very much, and I hope to see you in the next video.